Are we live? Yes? We're live. We're on.
Oh, is this
Hello.
cheese?
Is cheese? No, it's rice.
It's rice? This is rice?
It's rice all.
Cheese.
No, it's cheese.
Okay,
It's
wait,
cheese
but
also.
did you tell people where we are? I'm trying to find it.
I think I just did. We're live.
Okay, hi.
Welcome to my basement,
I just
everybody.
want to make sure that people know where we are.
I know it's different. It's
and
different.
Then, yeah.
But
I see. Okay.
what I can do is I can take this footage and then stick it up on YouTube later on.
Okay, I found you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna retweet it now. Okay. Okay.
Cool.
I'm present.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm here.
All
I'm
right.
in front of presents.
In front of
We're
presents.
in front of a
Yes.
Christmas tree. We're not in big space at all. That was
Yes.
a lie. We are in LA.
Los Angeles. We flew down to see The Force Awakens last night. Our review has aired. It's on our YouTube channel.
Very lucky.
Thank you for your comments, and obviously you gave it a 9.
I haven't seen the comments.
Some good comments.
Oh,
I
okay.
gave it an 8.5. People have been sort of in that range. I've been asking for people's scores and all that stuff.
Yeah, so we thought that we would give you a review
Yeah. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about it.
filled with spoilers.
This will be with spoilers. Now,
Filled with spoilers.
some of you have seen this, so it won't be that bad. But if you haven't seen it, you probably don't want to watch this podcast yet.
Well, we'll tell you when we're going to start talking about it,
Yeah.
and then you can tune out, and then you can watch it again when you've seen it. I just feel like everybody out there is posting their non-spoiler review.
Yeah, I know.
So you've already had plenty of those.
And our review was non-spoiler.
And our review was
Yes.
already non-spoiler,
Yes.
so we don't need to sit here talking about things we can't talk about.
Right.
We can actually talk about the things that happen and what we would change, what we would keep.
First thing I want to say, though, is thank you to everybody that's posting really, really nice comments about the final episode of season 25 and my thank you video and our Game of the Year Rocket and Ray Gun stuff. It's a pretty awesome show, and I feel very, very proud of our last episode of the year. And I feel very confident that it's not our last episode. I think that something cool will happen in 2016, and I'm still knee-deep in conversations. These things take a lot of time, especially now because it's so crazy in media. But I am having a lot of really good discussions.
Yeah, a lot of time, a lot of conversations need to be had.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I just thought that was a really great way to wrap up 25 seasons.
Yep.
I don't think you could have put a bow on it any better than that.
Oh, thank you.
So I just think I feel so honored and so privileged to have been just like a sliver, like a little slice of the pie I got to have.
Big slice. You're a big slice of pie, Marissa Roberto.
Oh, thanks. I like to say I'm the sweetest cherry pie. So, no, thank you. It's been such a fun, emotional, exciting, privileged time. So.
Well, I mean, I think what's true about EP, and I certainly hoped that this would be the case, is that it's probably the best gig there is. You know, we get to talk about the coolest things that people make, and we have a lot of fun. And speaking of which, let's talk about Star Wars.
The fun we just had.
Yes. What do you
First of
feel now?
all,
You've slept on it. You've thought about the movie.
No, we're gonna talk about what happened yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, because you and I flew in at different times.
Right.
So you were excited the second you got off the plane.
Oh, yes.
Already texting away.
Oh, yeah.
So my phone is blowing up.
Yeah.
And okay, so they're gonna start.
Oh, no,
letting
I'd
people
already been in town already, but I was just going crazy waiting. I just wanted to see the movie. I wanted to go, and it was like 4:30. I'm like, okay, looking at my watch.
I know.
I'm
But
playing
they're not
Broforce.
They're not checking people in until 6 o'clock, okay? So we agreed that we'd meet there at 6 o'clock when they start checking people in.
I just
okay?
wanted
That's
good
fine.
seats. I wanted good seats, and I was
But
flipping
they
out.
were going to reserve seats for us. So anyway,
Oh, man.
because that was just great. It was a very nice thing that we got to be part of. So
Yes.
he texted 5:30. He's like, "Hey, I can't wait anymore." And I wanted to take a snapshot of my tweet or your text to me and just post it on Twitter. Like, this is actually what it's like to be friends with Victor Lucas. Because
I was losing it.
No, we just need to go. We need to go. Like, they're not going to start the movie early for you. Like, they're not going to do it.
But it was it really hit me at 5. I was like, I'm seeing Star Wars in 2 hours. Oh my God, I'm totally flipping out. And I couldn't contain it anymore. I'm like, let's go!
So my actual response to him was you have plenty of time to jizz everywhere in your hotel room right now. You are allowed to do that. Just feverishly masturbate all you want for half an hour.
Well, it didn't take that long. It was all over a lot quicker than that.
Wait,
but then,
jizzing?
yeah, and then we went to see the movie, and it was really nice. There was lots of really great people there. Rob from Coin Op TV was really sweet, and he's a big supporter of EP. And thank you for that, but also for being such a really cool gentleman. We met Andre. I think he's the black nerd.
Black nerd.
Yeah, he's terrific. We talked to him for a while, and also ran into Jeff.
Sweet.
Healy was there last night, and Ray Padilla, and Paul Semmel, and Justine was there, and Of course, all kinds of Disney people like John Vignacchi and our friends that work, in PR and marketing and on the game, the Disney Infinity game, because it was all part of a celebration of the release of the Force Awakens set with Disney Infinity, and all tied to that. So Jeff Bunker was there, the guy that models all of the figures and all that stuff.
Who looks alarmingly like the figure
like
of
older
Han Solo.
Yes.
Yeah. He bears a striking resemblance, so I'm sure he had something to do with that.
Yeah.
Just making the figure, and we did find out there's not going to be an old Han figure.
I think they're going to do a power disc. That's my suspicion.
But it'll be a power disc.
It'll be a power disc that you can use with the original Han Solo, and it will transform him into the Force Awakens Han Solo. Now, let's talk about the Force Awakens.
Speaking of, so this is when we're going to start talking about everything.
Yes,
so if you haven't seen it yet, it's okay. You can stop this.
Everything has been spoiler-free up until this point.
You can watch our review, which is completely spoiler-free.
3, 2, 1... Holy shit, they killed Han Solo.
Oh no!
Holy shit.
You didn't give them a second turn off.
They killed Han Solo. Can you believe that?
I knew something was going to have to happen with one of the main three.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do something that tugged on our heartstrings a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that. Unfortunately, did it with your favorite character, everyone's favorite character, really.
And it was like a melancholy kind of blow to the whole franchise when he passed away. And I think they did a really good job with that, but then I think what they did was undercut the weight of that by misstepping, and this is why my review went from 9.5 down to an 8.5, is that I felt like, and you can argue with me all you want, but I felt like when Chewbacca and Rey and the very damaged Finn all land in the Millennium Falcon, and they come off of the ship, and Chewbacca just walks right by Princess Leia. General Leia. Just walks right by. There's no acknowledgement. There's no he's not even sad. He just walks, and then you can see Chewbacca in the background, and he's just sort of like with everybody, and there's no sorrow. There's no sadness. And then Rey and Leia have a moment for a second.
But I don't know, when did they become so close, Rey and Leia? We didn't see any of that development at all.
No.
And I understand they had to fit a lot into this movie, but I don't understand why they were hugging. I know it was to symbolize she is now taking over for Han Solo. They're going to have a relationship now because she is the new Han, really, for the franchise. And they show that in the end as well. But there should have been that moment with Leia, with Chewie. I wanted more emotion. Chewie, out of all the characters, will be the one that we hold on to, especially people that have watched the original trilogy or have had it in our lives for a bit. We're gonna identify with him emotionally. We're gonna cry. If he's crying, we're gonna cry. There wasn't enough of that from him.
When he was sad when Chewbacca got all destroyed in Return of the Jedi. He was sad when Luke went missing, and he was really sad when Han got frozen in carbonite. And we've seen those moments of Chewie being a really empathetic creature.
He is. We love him.
And we love him. There's a reason why we love him. He's not just a big walking carpet, as he's been referred to. He's a powerfully emotive individual, and he was fully robbed of it in The Force Awakens. And then so is Leia robbed of any real sparks with Han Solo. And I have to say that certainly Harrison Ford has been acting a lot longer than Leia, and he sort of carries the weight of his. Than Carrie Fisher, but he carries the weight of his age and his persona and his gravitas better than Carrie Fisher does as a performer. But I feel like they should have been given more time to rehearse, to flesh that out, because we didn't get anywhere near the sparks that we had when even Han and Leia were running through the hallways on Hoth, and that banter was so perfect. That led to the the moment of "I love you, I know." That's what we needed again, and instead we have this. They're kind of in a crappy relationship, and they're both kind of sad.
It was weird, and there was a moment where it's like, are they gonna kiss? Oh, I really hope they don't kiss. It was one of those things that I didn't want to see happen.
But they should have. And the only reason we didn't want them to kiss is because they didn't have chemistry, and they didn't look comfortable in that moment.
No.
But if they did, imagine the swashbuckling takes him into her arms, and that could have been what was that Notebook movie? It could have been that. That's what they should have shot for, right? It should have been a love eternal, right? Yeah. And it's kind of sad because the same thing happened with Indiana Jones and Marion in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and I feel like Han Solo or Harrison Ford has in Age of Adeline as well.
Age of Adeline, yeah.
Or Adeline, yeah. He's like this guy that when he ages, he's just going to have bad feelings about the choices that he made.
Okay, yes, but to be fair though,
yeah.
and to argue the other point of it, relationships aren't really like they are in the Notebook. You
yeah.
know, in real life, not
yeah.
a lot of relationships are like that.
Yeah, but this is romanticized. This is Star Wars.
Sure, it's romanticized, but I don't think Star Wars has ever really been about romance. It's never really been about love like that. It's never really been about sex or anything like that.
No.
So I mean, you can argue the other side of it as well. So I understand. Just watching it as an audience member, did not want them to have that moment because I did not feel that from the actors.
I really feel that was a missed opportunity. But I think the thing that would have, if Chewbacca had got down on his knees when he saw Leia and went "Rah!" and cried
Can you do it, Chewie?
I can. We'll get Scott
Jones
to do one
to do it,
later.
yeah.
We'll just add that in.
Yeah.
Whatever he would do.
Yeah.
All right.
Almost.
if he had done that and then hugged Leia and they shed actual tears, there wouldn't have been a dry eye in the house. Like we would have all just been gut punched, and that would have added so much weight and resonance. Because the one thing that I really reflect on with this latest movie is that this doesn't shy away from the war part of Star Wars. It's a pretty violent movie, and because of this sadness, I mean, this is we have their son is tormented with his choices, and he's turning evil, and Rey doesn't have family, and everybody was great. Rey doesn't have family, and Finn doesn't know where he belongs, but he can't, kill innocent people.
He's just a number. He's just a number.
It really shows the weight of war, but they didn't let us cry through it.
We want it. That's the one takeaway. That's the one negative for the movie for me was I wasn't emotionally connected as I thought I would be. I was emotionally connected with the excitement, with the hype, even though I tried to temper it a little bit, with all of the lore of this world. It's exciting to be around, and also to be around the people that love it so much. Like it seems like everybody in the world is getting behind this movie, is getting excited with this movie. When we come to this theater to see every single cinema playing this movie, and everybody to be here, and when they had to go to the bathroom, people to be running out of their seats and running back and knocking people over just to get there because they don't want to miss a single second of it. That's awesome. What is exciting about this experience. So that is why.
Well, it's also Star Wars is now fully back. Like these are characters that we all care about. I think that Poe, Oscar Isaac is awesome, great choice. I think Boyega is killer in this movie. And one thing that I really like about Boyega and Ridley playing off is you hear a couple of British actors, and Boyega's totally dropped his British accent. He's got to act with a fellow Brit, a mate. Basically they probably have been working alongside each other in different things.
He drops his accent.
But so confident, so competent, such great characters, such great choices. And Daisy Ridley, I think, is the knockout surprise. You watch her and she's just so, because everybody else, there's been a few hints about how brilliant they could be.
Oh no, she's right into it. This girl is freaking Jack #1. Like she's a powerhouse. She's young, but she's feisty, and I believe in her. I believe in her 100%. There was nothing. The casting for this movie was phenomenal. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with
Boyega and Ridley look like kids at the beginning of the movie, even by the end of it, they look like they're maturing into their performances.
They're getting into it.
And we know we're going to see them grow up now. For the next 10 years, they're going to be in Star Wars movies, and you can get overwhelmed with it, and you can think, oh my God, the machine and money and la 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 la, but it's still exciting to care this much about going to the movies.
Yes, for sure.
And it was handled well, all of the stuff, but I think JJ, he had too many, not just fans, he had too many, sort of avenues to please, so many different sort of agendas that had to be kind of ticked off, and he couldn't fully make it a 10 out of 10 type of movie.
No, there was no possible way that could have happened. I mean, yes, I know you want the emotion, for sure, and maybe if we had that, your score would have been higher, yes, but there's still, when you have the machine behind it, like
so much
for all
machine,
these movies, especially this one, I don't know how, you have to please so many people. Yeah. So many people, like the script goes through so many people, and like just all of it needs to be checked off, so.
And that's kind of the thing with these movies, and Spectre, I think, was guilty of it too, is like, you have to get to a point of rawness and hunger and risk-taking, and how the hell do you do that when there are action figures for everything already made? You know, like how do you know, right? Like
there are action figures for everything. It's true.
Right? Like how do you get beyond that and just have something that's pure like the original trilogy? And I think JJ did the best that he could under all of this extraneous circumstance, you know?
Yeah, no, I trusted this with him for sure, and so many people did, and I really am. I was delighted to be sitting in the theater watching it, and there were so many people around me that seemed really emotional about it too. Like it was just a really great experience.
Ray was tearing up beside us.
Yeah,
I really want to hear from people if they started crying, if they had an emotional thing.
I don't know if it was a cryy kind of movie. It's exciting because it's back for sure. It's exciting because they seem to have just completely thrown away those prequel movies.
Yes.
They seem to just like there's no referral back to them at all.
Totally.
None of it.
Totally redundant or totally unnecessary. Totally just cut out of any kind of import. It feels like.
Exactly.
You know?
So it's nice to not have any of that in there, and it's just it was just such a great. It almost just felt kind of like though they were replicating the original.
Yes, and this is my concern. Okay, like JJ's got a pretty deft touch with a lot of this stuff, and he just keeps learning and improving. I think he's made some missteps along the way for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel the same with Colin Trevorrow, and is it Gareth?
Oh, Gareth Edwards.
It's not Edwards.
Oh, because he's getting the
he's getting
the other one. Is it Rogue?
Rogue One. Yeah, I'm actually very excited about that because
oh my god, it's gonna be so good.
They can go on a totally different tangent. But what I'm concerned about with the new trilogy is like, what is it about now? You know, what's the story about? Because it was about the Skywalker father to son, you know, passing of the torch, and Luke sort of makes up for the sins of his father. But now what is it about?
Well, it's about Kylo Ren's journey.
Is it? I mean, when you look at the whole 9 episodes.
Journey.
Okay. Is
that those two?
Well, we don't.
The opposing.
I don't know if we know that yet.
I just feel like the Force is strong with her, and he's also like he's weakened. He has a weak Force as well. Like his Force is strong with him, but it's not as strong as it could be.
Yeah.
And she's just tapping into how strong her Force actually is. So it's still the story of the battle of light and dark.
Here's my prediction. Mark Hamill is working out. He is getting in shape. He was just at the premiere, and there's new pictures of him, and he's starting to look a little bit more cut. Remember how cut he was in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi? He was doing flips, and he was really fit, and I feel like he's getting really fit, and they're going to bring him back, and he's going to be as badass a fighter and a warrior leader as Yoda was in the prequels.
Right, okay, because when we did see him, I did think of Yoda, for sure.
Yeah, and Obi-Wan for sure, but I think he's going to be, I think he's going to be just a master in 8 and 9, and I think it will ultimately be about what he does. They will put him back.
I think it should go back to him. I think it should always go back to him because it's always really been about him.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just because
we
he
don't
was
know,
hardly
right?
in the first one, so.
Because these are all generations, and that's also the other sad thing about this is like, when do these guys ever have peace? You know, why is it always this like resurgent? You know, what's the overall message? Is that there's no hope, and your son's going to end up being a terrible person and turn to the dark side, and relationships won't last, and everybody's going to be killing each other all the time.
Yeah. Okay, that's
true. Pretty miserable thing for such a ragtag, you know. Like Poe has got a big smile on his face for big chunks of this. It's like, man, this looks miserable. I don't want to live on a thing where a star can actually destroy a whole planet.
Oh, I know.
Right?
Well, they're just trying to make best of the world that they have.
Yeah.
Working with the scraps that they're given.
Yeah.
Like Rey does. Just trying to sort out their lives in this messed up galaxy.
How crazy is it that Mark Hamill's in this movie? He doesn't say anything.
He doesn't say one fucking thing.
Doesn't say one thing. He turns around. You know, like we've been hyped up on Mark Hamill being a part of this movie for so long.
Nothing.
He takes his hood off and turns around. That was his performance.
I'm just waiting. You're just all waiting there. I'm waiting. He's gonna say something. He's gonna say something. No.
Hey,
he doesn't say anything.
You want a cool piece of trivia?
Yeah.
Since we're revealing, so this isn't really much of a spoiler, but you know that stormtrooper that lets Rey free after she finally figures out the
yeah.
That was Daniel Craig.
What?
Yeah, it was Daniel Craig in the suit.
How do you know?
I just read about it on Slash Film today.
He just because he wanted to have.
He was on set shooting Spectre right beside the Star Wars set, and he wanted to have a cameo in there, so they put him in this Stormtrooper outfit.
That is fucking hilarious.
And he did that whole sequence.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was a little worried, or it was a little weird too, to see Rey just pick up so much of the Force, and also Boyega. I mean, I'm trying to, I justify it all in my head as I extrapolate out, because at the end of it, it's just like, fuck, I had a great time. But the Boyega having such ability with a lightsaber against a guy that was a burgeoning master was a bit weird as well.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's still new.
Yeah,
he's still new.
He's still new, and Boyega is supposed to be a warrior as well.
That's right.
He's a trained stormtrooper, so that's how I justify it. But it was weird that a non-Jedi picks up the lightsaber and he can still fight a guy that's got powers.
That's the beauty of the film, though, and I think what JJ knew had to happen is that every single decision in this movie, everything that happened, had to be justified in some way, because we know exactly how some Star Wars fans are. They are going to pick apart every second of this film.
And it's pretty easy to pick apart a big chunk of this movie, but I think the end result is a pretty remarkable couple hours of escapism that totally fits alongside. And in fact, it felt like a better episode 4 if we just forget about the prequels.
Well, I think that we are. I think those are just garbage. Those aren't real.
So we could say that episode 4 was episode 1 and this would be episode 4.
Episode 4, exactly. Yeah. So I'm not, I had a great time with it. I do think, it deserves the 8.5 you gave it, the 9 that I gave it.
I want to see it again.
And that's the thing, is that it's one of those movies that you can actually see again, and that's what you need out of a Star Wars movie. You need to be able to watch these things over and over again, which is what the original trilogy gave us.
Totally.
So to add this to that and have it sewn up so nicely, I appreciate that.
And I can't wait to play the Disney Infinity
the Force Awakens stuff. You had some hands-on time with it. Oh, like some behind-the-scenes info of that. There was another TV show that was being made there. Yeah. With like one of those cake things. I don't know what the show was. They couldn't say what it was, but it was one of those like cake competition shows. Okay, so it was for like Food Network or something. Yeah. Yeah. That cake was a fucking lie. It was a lie. There was no cake in the cake. Do you know how much that broke my heart?
They had some cake in the cake.
No. There was cake served outside of the cake. They brought in cake from outside. Yeah, no. There was no cake sliced from that cake. Yes, that is why I'm so heartbroken. Wow. There was no cake sliced from the winning cake. This is all a lie.
It certainly looked good.
Yeah, no, it looked amazing, but it wasn't cake. It was like cardboard and some other garbage. I can make some stuff out of plasticine too, okay? Like, that was not okay. I was really upset.
What a way to end a season, huh?
Oh, with the cake that's alive?
No, with Star Wars and a trip to Los Angeles and
of
very
course.
Cool.
This has been a really exciting. I can't even. This has been the best way to end. I think this season is to come to LA and watch Star Wars. Yep. This is it.
It's surreal.
There's Christmas.
Yes. Oh. And now next week you're off to Saskatoon. And
I'm off
to Edmonton. Prairie bound. Thank you very much for watching, everybody.
And go watch Star Wars, but Creed is still, number 1.
And Avengers: Age of Ultron, I still love to.
See you soon.
We'll be back in 2016 with some new stuff. So make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel. And thank you all for watching.
YouTube.com.
And Stitcher. Oh yeah, YouTube.com/EPN
TV.
And Stitcher. Thank you all. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Mwah.